Can the Polo GTI come out of the shadow of the Golf GTI? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Welcome back to Joe Talks Cars. Welcome to another video. Welcome to the VW Polo GTI. This is the first time I have driven a Polo GTI and I'm really looking forward to it. So let's have a walk around the car and talk about some of the design. First of all, you'll notice this is unmistakably a GTI. In my opinion, the best colour to have a GTI is either white or black. Shows off all the red detailing. And the front of this car looks really stunning. It looks like a little baby Golf GTI. The only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is this white strip here. I just don't think it makes the front of the car look right. It's the only thing on the front of the car I think is a little bit awkward. So maybe if you could make that put that in black or something, it would look a little bit better. But overall, the front of the car is stunning. It's got this lovely grille, pretty much like you get on the latest Golf GTI. Really huge VW badge, nicely smoothed off, and really nice slim matrix LED lights. Round the back is a very standard VW GTI style, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's really nice and clean. Again, looks like a mini Golf GTI. I think if you were following this, because it doesn't say Polo on the back, if you weren't really sure about cars, you might be mistaken for thinking this is a Golf GTI. It is worth mentioning these Polos have grown over the years. This thing is the size of a Mark V Golf. They're a big car, and the GTI badge taking the centre of the car. No mention of the word Polo, which I really like. It's just simply a GTI. Up top, you've got a nice little lip spoiler. Looks like some of the modified spoilers that you can get from Maxton Design, but I quite like it, and it really does give the car something extra. Makes it stand out from the standard Polo. Now, it's the inside which I think really separates this car from every Polo I've driven in the past. This is the newest Polo I've driven. The latest one I drove was a couple of generations ago. But the interior in here, compared with that one, has stepped up one hell of a degree. It's got a really premium feel. Yes, some of the plastics are a little bit scratchy up at the top, but overall, it's really nice. I love the red detailing. It really makes you feel like you're in something sporty. I think this is something that VW have always struggled with in the past, is making their cars a little bit special inside, and I think they've finally done it. It's got lovely digital dials in this car and a really nice big touchscreen panel, which works really well. This car is fitted with a DSG gearbox, which is the only option for this car, which shows the way that things have gone. People don't want manuals anymore. You can argue all day long they're more fun, but people just don't want them. So I think all that's left to do now, and because it is absolutely freezing today, is take this thing out for a drive. Because it's all right walking around it and looking at it, but what I want to do is hit the roads around here in Oxfordshire and really see if this car separates itself from the Golf GTI. So, the Polo GTI. One thing that's always got me with the Polo GTI is I'm not really sure what class it sits in. Because when you think of its competitors, Renault Sport, like with the Clio, and Fiesta with the Fiesta ST, things have changed in the last few weeks. I don't know if you've seen on the news, but they've discontinued the Fiesta. And Renault Sport haven't made a car in years. So what else is there out there that can compete with the Polo GTI? In some ways, it's in a class of its own. There are cars like the Hyundai i20 and i30, and they're definitely competitors to this, but they're not going to be as premium, and they certainly don't have the brand appeal that the Polo GTI does, and certainly the GTI badge. So what is this thing like on the road? Well, initial impressions are very good. It feels so much like my Golf GTI, it's ridiculous. The size of it, again, it feels a much bigger car than the previous generation Polo, and it just feels super plush and compliant on the road. Suspension is extremely good. This has got adaptive suspension, so you can play with the different settings and you can make it comfortable or you can make it hard. I'm just going to leave it all alone. The only thing I'm going to say, and I guess you're all expecting this, it's not that fun. It's certainly not as fun as a Golf GTI, and I'm not really quite sure why, because my Golf has the same sort of power and weight as this, so should feel very similar, but I don't know what it is. The Golf GTI just feels more raw. You'll have recently seen me driving lots of electric cars lately, and that's the way things are going. We've just sat in a press briefing with VW, and it's all about electric vehicles at the moment. But this just shows there is a demand for the hot hatch, and there is a demand for a petrol-powered hot hatch, which is great. And I think the Polo GTI has finally come of age. Its competitors have narrowed out the field, they've disappeared. The Fiesta's gone, the Renault Sport's gone. In fact, even the Corsa VXR is no more. VXR is no more. So is the Polo GTI finally getting to a point now where it makes sense? Because before, its competitors were doing things better for less money, and really you'd be better off spending the extra cash on a Golf GTI and get the true icon. The Polo GTI has been around for 25 years, which a long time for a car model. And I can see why. It's a really lovely car, and it's very classy. Things maybe not so good, the sound. This is a 2-litre turbo, 4-cylinder car. We've all come to realise that the 4-cylinder 2-litre turbo is not the best sounding car in the world, but it's not bad. There are cars out there that, you know, can sound nice. The new Golf R, for example, it does sound good. So much of it's artificial, but still. But this, it's flat. It really doesn't sound like anything. I've tried to capture some sound from the outside, and I'm not even sure it's going to make the edit. It sounds like a hairdryer. There's nothing about it, absolutely nothing. And there's obviously limiters on it, so you can't really rev it. So what are my overall thoughts on the Polo GTI? Do I think it really does make sense and is a true GTI? In the same way the Golf GTI is the iconic hot hatch. Is this now living up to those standards? Well, I think overall it actually does. Not only is it a brilliant car, which I think it always has been, the Polo GTI has always been brilliant, but its competition has caused it lots of problems. I think now, with the competition slowly dwindling away, it's allowed the Polo GTI to come through and show everyone what it's made of. People are going to start noticing this car because of the competition going away. And like I said, this does not mean that this was ever a bad car. This was always a good car. The Polo GTI is a fantastic car, but it's just lived in the shadow of its older brother, the Golf GTI, but also lots of competition that did it better and did different things and was more entertaining. I think people genuinely do want something quick that will do the commute, but also look stylish. And that's where this comes in. It's not the most fun or engaging car that there is, and it is more or less as I expected. It's a more tame Golf GTI in a smaller form for less money, and I like it, and I would have one, I genuinely would. This is a lovely car, and I think VW have done a fantastic job with it. It's just come of age, if you ask me. This Polo GTI has come of age. You get so many people slating them, saying they're boring. It's not boring, it's just somewhat lacking in the fun department. But I've certainly got to a certain age now where I'm not bothered about Nürburgring lap times and rock hard suspension and mechanical diffs. I want something just quick, point and shoot it down the road and actually not hurt my back. So the Polo GTI is probably exactly what I need right now. I want to thank everyone so much for supporting this channel over the past few years, because it's led to this point. It's led to the point where I am now taking press cars out. I'm going on press events, I'm getting my lunch paid for and driving amazing cars, and it's such an amazing time, and I want to thank every single one of you that has taken the time to hit subscribe, because it's because of you guys that I'm being able to do this. It really is. So if you haven't already hit subscribe, please make sure you do that, because the more people that subscribe, the more invites I get, the more cars I get to go on, and ultimately more content I can bring to you. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, for plenty more videos like this one to come. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.